If you are stuck at 200 views, I hate to say it, but it's your fault. Everyone has sold you a lie on the internet. They're letting you to believe that it is the algorithm's fault that you're not growing on TikTok. But the sad reality is that is simply not true. So in this video, I'm gonna break down why your TikTok videos are stuck at a low view count. And then I'm gonna give you a simple process that will ensure that you will go viral within the next 7 days. But before I get into that, let's first talk about the biggest myths involving the TikTok algorithm. When you first start posting on TikTok, you're probably not gonna get a lot of views. But the thing is, that's completely normal. You see, there are a ton of videos on YouTube telling you how easy it is to get views on TikTok. And I hate to burst your bubble, but they are quite literally selling you a dream. The vast majority of the people making these videos have not a clue about how the algorithm works. They'll tell you how easy it is to get a bunch of views and make a bunch of money with TikTok. But when you start posting, your videos will take a long time to start to get traction. And while that's completely normal, you'll think that you're doing something wrong. And then your favorite guru will have a oddly convenient excuse as to why things aren't working. Like, dude, your account is shadow banned. And the worst thing is that they're making these videos to sell you some form of course. And within that course, what a coincidence, because they tell you exactly how to get rid of the shadow ban your account has. Anyways, here's the truth. If your TikToks are getting between 200 and 1,000 views, you're not shadow banned. Your videos just suck. And I'll explain more about this later. If you really were shadow banned, your videos would be getting between 0 and 50 views. And the only reason that happens is when you've done something that TikTok does not like. For example, maybe you used a VPN when signing up, or right after you made the account, you spammed too many videos. There are a ton of things that can trigger this. And TikTok hasn't publicly directly told us exactly what they are. And like I said, I get it. It's annoying. I've dealt with it too. But out of the hundreds of TikTok accounts that I've looked at and reviewed, there hasn't been a single person who's been shadow banned who hasn't already done something wrong. Hence, why setting up your TikTok account the right way is a crucial step in going viral. Here's how to do it. You need to set up the TikTok account using an Outlook email. Once you set up your account, verify your email address, add a profile picture, just set up the account like you're a real person, because you are a real person. Right? The first 48 hours after you create the account are the most important. And this is usually the time when the shadow ban could happen. Add a profile picture, add a bio, upload a video, whatever. After your profile is set up, you need to start using the app, but like actually using it. What I mean by that is you can't just go onto your For You page, scroll through some videos and mindlessly like every video that you see, because this will make TikTok think you're a bot. So what I usually do instead is I take this time to research the content that I intend to create. For example, if you're gonna be making content about working out, you should probably take this time to see what type of content is doing well in the fitness niche. So instead of mindlessly scrolling, you're doing something that can help you out later. And that is because once you have an account set up the right way, you're gonna need to make the right kind of content. Like I said earlier, I review hundreds of TikTok accounts every month. And one of the biggest mistakes I see from creators is that their videos just kind of suck. And I know I said that earlier in the video, and it's pretty vague, so let me explain. When I say that, do you ask yourself, well, why do my videos suck? And the biggest issue I see with a lot of creators is that their ideas just aren't where they need to be. It doesn't matter how great your hook is or how crazy controversial you get. If the idea itself is bad, it probably won't get views. There's a saying that goes, you can't polish a turd. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there right now doing just that. So instead of rushing into your next video, here's how I come up with ideas that generate millions of views. If I was gonna create content about working out, I wouldn't upload just anything. You need a content strategy. And that's the thing that, unfortunately, a lot of beginners don't realize. People think that you'll just upload a few TikToks and then go viral. And that is just not how it works. I like to find all the viral videos in a niche that went viral in the past 30 days and then pick out the ones out of those that performed the best and then study them. I look through each video and try to find some commonalities. What are they saying in their videos? What can I see on the screen? What sounds are they using? And I do this for as many popular videos as possible. Because if a video did well previously, that creator did something right. And it's my job, if I'm doing this, or your job, if you're doing it, to figure out what that is. And if you can't find any, or at least enough videos in the specific niche that you want to target, feel free to also do this and explore with similar niches. Now, to go back to the working out example, how I'm going to be making fitness content. Let's say I want to make a video about the best arm workouts. That's decently specific, so there might not be too much content for me to use as inspiration. But what I can do is look at videos in a niche that's similar and use those videos to inspire the content that I'll be making. So in this example, I check out videos about probably the best chest workouts, the best ab workouts, because more likely than not, what has worked for those audiences will work for my video as well. Think about it like this. You know when you buy something on Amazon, and then right at the bottom it says, people who bought this also loved this. Well, it's pretty much the exact same thing with content. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. A lot of the content that you want to make is probably out there already. You just have to package it in a different way, a slightly different way. That's all. So please don't make it any more complicated than it needs to be. But coming up with good ideas can be pretty difficult. And that is what separates the beginners from the best creators. And if everything I'm saying right now sounds confusing, I get it. But this is the reality of TikTok, not the walk in the park a lot of people make it out to be. I've spoken about this at length in my email list. I've been going super in depth lately, and I've gotten a pretty good response. A lot of people are saying they're rocking with it. So just as a side note, before I get into the most important step of this process, if you do want to get some more tips about TikTok, make sure to sign up to my email list. Link is in the description. Anyways, what I am about to tell you is arguably the most important part of succeeding on TikTok. And I'm about to tell you something that might upset you. And is that the TikTok algorithm does not give a shit about you. And I know that can be kind of harsh, but it's true. The TikTok algorithm only has one job, and it is to show the right kind of content to the right people. So you need to make the algorithm's job as easy as possible. And this is how you can do it. The first thing you need to do is get people's attention. Say somebody ran up to you in the street and said, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh." That would probably get your attention. Some people might feel scared. Some people might feel shocked, but it would definitely get your attention. And that is what you need to do with TikTok. And I actually did the same thing at the very start of this exact video you're watching. I said something that I knew you were probably gonna have an opinion on, but here's the problem. Getting people's attention isn't the hardest part, but it is something you do need to consider. Imagine that person who came up to you freaking out in the middle of the street. You asked them, like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And then they just stop and look at you and just go like, I don't know. You'd probably be at least a little annoyed, and you'd probably feel like it just kind of wasted your time. And if that person came up to you 20 minutes later freaking out again, you probably wouldn't really listen to them. And you need to remember this. When you make a TikTok, your first job is to get their attention, and your second job is to keep it. Because getting people's attention alone is not enough to make your video go viral. But let's just take virality out of it for a second. Why would you want to create content where you just say controversial things for the sake of it? Imagine if you could create content and make money from it. Imagine if you could create content and build an audience from it. Imagine if you could create content that you actually care about. And if you want to learn how to do all of that the right way, click this video right here.